Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today I was in the mood to create another Christmassy themed page, but I also wanted to incorporate a little bit of poetry. So I've incorporated a Japanese haiku as my quote or phrase to go on the art journal page, and I've created the Christmas tree out of collage papers. So this is how I created it. So to begin with, I went onto the internet, onto Pinterest, and found a template for a Christmas tree shape that I liked. Now this one I found and it worked, or will work quite well. I want to get those kind of overlapping wavy lines for the Christmas tree, so this will allow me to be able to do that. So to work out how many pieces or how many bits of the template I'm going to need, I did a second one and then divided it up. So I've got the bits that I need for overlapping. So looking at the templates, I can get this piece, and this piece from one sheet of paper, and this piece from another. So I only need to recreate or do another copy of this template with my dividing lines to get the shapes that I want, to be able to build the Christmas tree in the way that I want. So I only need to do one more copy, and then I can cut both of those pieces up. The first sheet to get all the pieces labelled up as number 1, and the second sheet to get all the pieces labelled up as number 2. So I'm going to put this through my scanner printer copier, create a second copy, and then I'm going to cut them all out, and I'll be right back once I've got those pieces cut out. Okay, so I've now got all my pieces cut out from my template. So as you can see, these three look like big pairs of fat lips. This one looks like an arrowhead, and that one just looks like a moustache. So pretty much exactly how I need them. So if I now grab these and layer them up, you'll be able to see, and I've done them, actually gone through and written the numbers in the order. So starting off with number 5, overlap with number 4, number 3, number 2, and then number 1. And that's going to give me my Christmas tree shape with those overlapping bits, but also the little bits at the top to make sure that I've got something to glue them onto. So what I need to do now is to cut out the shapes that I want in the papers that I want. So to do that, I've got a very inexpensive Christmas paper pad. This one is from a shop here in the UK called The Range. This only cost me a couple of pounds. There's 2 sheets in each one. There's 30 sheets, 15 designs and 2 sheets of each. So I've gone out and pulled out some of the colours and the sheets that I want to use. So I pulled out the snowflake, the stripe, the argyle, and the tartan or the plaid, depending on where you come from. And for the final piece, I've got an old piece of graphic 45. I think this is from like one of their Explorer ranges that I'm also going to use as one of these pieces as well. So what I need to do now is to take or decide which pattern I want where, and then transfer this onto the paper and then cut it out. So I need to go off and transfer all of these patterns onto the paper and then cut them out. So I'll be back in a few minutes. So to transfer the shapes onto the paper, I have a repositionable tape runner. So literally just dropped it onto the paper in the position that I want it. So I want the pattern to be in that kind of triangular, or the diamond pattern if you like. I'm not making any sense today at all, am I? So for number 2, I'm just going to add a little bit to the back there, and then I'm going to turn it over. No, I'm not going to turn it over because I can't see any better on that side, can I? So for number 2, put that one down. I also want number 4 to be on in this paper as well. So let's find a nice position. I think that blue is going to work well down there. So position that like so. And then all I need to do is to take a pencil and just very, very gently draw around the shape. Now I am aware that every time I draw around like this, I'm increasing the size of the shapes. That's fine. All I have to do is just cut on the inside of the line, and then that goes back, or will be, a normal kind of size. So I'm going to go away and do all the other pieces. So I've done number 1 already. You can see my pencil line just underneath. So number 1, I've now got number 2 and number 4 to go around, and then I just have to do number 3 and number 5. So once I've done those, I'll come back and then I'll just show you to start the cutting out process. Oh, before I go, remember, this is an art journal page. It doesn't have to be exact. So if your pencil skills or tracing skills aren't wonderful, for example, if you've got, you know, dexterity problems, that kind of thing, it doesn't matter, because it's a mixed media Christmas tree that you're creating, a collage effect Christmas tree. So it doesn't matter if the lines are a little bit wavy or off or not quite perfect. In nature, nothing is perfect, so don't sweat it. Okay, so for number 3, I think I'm going to put... I think I'm going to use this Christmas tree one. Okay, let me get back to it and I'll be with you when I'm done. Okay, so I've just realised that I've actually stuck those down to the front of the card rather than the back, but that doesn't make any difference. It is a repositionable tape runner anyway, and none of the glue's transferred. So the next job, he says, wondering what he's done with his scissors again, there we go, is to now start to cut out all of the pieces. So because this is going to be a little bit of a tedious task, then the best thing to do is for me to either put this on fast forward with some music or jump to the end. I'll see how I feel in the editing. Okay, so I now have all my 5 pieces of my fab Christmas tree all cut out. So now I need one more piece, so I'm going to just quickly go back to my pad because I spotted in there earlier there was some kind of like wood effect. So for this, I'm going to create my trunk just freehand. Like so. And then that can go underneath. Happy about that. So what I need to do now is just put these to one side for the minute, and then we can start work on creating my background. Okay, so for the colours of my background, I have 3 paint colours from Indigo Blue, 3 different shades of blue. So the first one that I have is called Coastal Walk, which is a nice kind of crisp blue, and we have a slightly warmer, more turquoisey blue called Townhouse Teal, and then the final one, which is a lot lighter, and this one is called Duck Egg. So as you can see, I like to shake these pots up because when I then take off the lid, it deposits some paint into the lid that I can use as like a little mini palette. And the same thing for the townhouse teal, and then for the coastal walk, same again. But before I start adding these paint colours directly onto the page, I don't want to add them directly onto the page, I'm going to put a coat of white gesso down. Again, this white gesso is from Indigo Blue, but I'm going to put plenty of the paint down, particularly towards the bottom, but I'm not going to go right up to the edges. I always like to leave a little bit of a kind of uneven border. Kind of always reminds me a little bit of a kind of like vignette finish around the edges. So plenty of that white gesso down, and then maybe not quite so much at the top, but plenty towards the bottom. Lots and lots and lots. And this is where the fun begins as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm going to take the lightest colour blue straight from the palette, or straight from the lid, and I'm going to start introducing that down here while that gesso is still wet. So I'm feeding that duck egg blue colour in like so, and then I'm just going to dry off the brush. I'm not going to rinse it, I'm just going to dry off the brush and then pick up the townhouse teal and then brush that in and then pull that down into that paint. Just kind of blending the paint in, creating a kind of bluish ombre. And then pick up the coastal walk and then right at the top, and then bring the brush down and just blend that in. Start at the top again and then bring the brush down, and then we create that really nice kind of bluey ombre effect. Now I can drop my brush into the water. Okay, happy with the way that looks for the time being. So I just need to get it all dry, and then when that's dry, I shall come back. Okay, so I'm loving the way that that paint now blends from the white into the light blue, into the darker blue, and then into the much darker blue of that coastal walk towards the top. And I love the fact that you can actually see the brush strokes still in the paint. I'm liking it. Okay, so now I want to bring in, I did use this side of the page to mop up the paint from the kitchen roll, which is why you can see a little bit of texture in that. So I'm going to grab all my little bits and pieces now. I'm going to start building up my Christmas tree. So to do that, I'm just going to use ordinary wet glue, and I've got the Tombow Mono Aqua liquid glue for this one. Just add a little bit. Let's stick that down there, pretty much in the centre. And then we can start building up the pieces. So number 5 is the first piece to go down. Make sure I get plenty on those corners, around the edges. And a bit in the middle. First layer. You like. Okay, number 4. And if I've still got a little bit of pencil on this afterwards, it's fine. I can just go back with an eraser and take it off. I love the way that overlaps. Number 3, that's the one with the little bows in, the green with the bows. Again, just going around the edges. And this is a great way to use up some of your scraps, some of your leftover patterns and papers that you may have, or some of those old ones that you've had lying around for absolutely ages. It'd be interesting to see if you do a page similar to this, what kind of colour combinations you can come up with. And I know I've used green tones. I did actually have 2 red ones, or 2 red sheets that I thought I might use, but to be honest, I think I prefer just using the ones that I've got mostly green in. Now that's corner there keeps peeling up, so I'm going to put a bit of extra on. That should hold it down. See, that's the beauty of that glue. It does just rub off. That's it. Leave it to dry for a little bit. Okay, so on to layer number 2. So back with the stripy pattern again. Make sure I get some around that point. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what colour combinations you can come up with, or whether if you use dictionary or book text or that kind of stuff. But you could even use family photos and do a family Christmas tree. That would be cute. Different photographs of your family members. Or you could actually use circular photos and use those as like Christmas ornaments on the tree. All kinds of different ways and variations that you could do something similar to this. If you're feeling so inspired, you might take a look at this and go, I don't think so. Which is fine. And there we go. So, my collage Christmas tree. Okay, I'm going to leave that to sit for a few minutes, just for it to dry. Make sure it all grabs. I'm happy with my choices for the papers. Like those, like it a lot. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so the glue's had a few minutes to set, which is really, really good. So I just want to do a little bit towards the tree trunk. I have a piece of that scrap card that I tore earlier, so I'm just going to overlay that. I have a piece of craft sponge, and I'm just going to grab some of that white gesso, a bit of scrap paper kicking around somewhere. That's it, just work it in. And then I'm just going to go over the top, just to kind of break up that line there at the bottom of the Christmas tree. Don't need that anymore, so that can get put away. I will need the white gesso in a little while, because obviously it's winter, it's Christmas, we're going to need some falling snow. But before we do that, I want to decorate up my Christmas tree. So let me just get this paint dry, because otherwise I'm going to end up smudging it with my elbow or something, and then I'll be right back. It'll only take a second. Okay, so just on that, if you weren't all that bothered about adding texture, you can add some structure paste down here at the bottom just to create a little bit of a 3D effect on the snow. So, Christmas decorations. What I wanted to do is just to introduce a little bit of sparkle. I know the colours in this tree are a little bit dull, they're not really super vibrant, but I've got a sheet of white glitter paper, and I don't normally do glitter, only very, very small moderation. So what I've got is I've got a 3/4 of an inch punch, circle punch, and this is I think, well, this is a Stampin' Up punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch out a load of little glittery circles to act as snowball decorations for my tree. Probably not going to use them all, but having more to play with than I need is better. So I'll put that to one side, nice and safe, and then bring back in my glue, and then I can start decorating my tree with my snowballs. Okay, so there are my glitter snowballs all stuck down, but I don't just want to stop there. I want to add another colour. This time I've got some gold, so I'm just going to add a couple of those into the tree also, just to give it a little bit of variation. There we go, like that. We like the sparkle. It's Christmas. Wouldn't be Christmas without a little bit of sparkle. Okay, I just need to weight those down a little bit, or just to allow time for the glue to grab. Ooh, that one moved a little bit. Okay, so the glue's had a few minutes just to grab. I did swap the top white snowball with a gold one, just to give it a little bit more balance. So now that they're kind of dry, I'm now going to go around and outline using my Signo white opaque rollerball pen, providing it's going to stay working. Of course, as you get down towards the bottom, that line's going to disappear anyway, because it's going to be going into the white, so you're not really going to see it. Apart from down there at the bottom. So that kind of helps just to unify it a little bit more, which is cool. So I want to put that to one side, and then the final thing that I want to do is just bring in my mat, just give my gesso a little bit of a shake, and then grab some water and my fan brush and just do our favourite little trick at Christmas. A little bit towards the edges. Don't mind a little bit going on, but I don't want it going right the way in the middle. Okay, let me get that dry, get this cleaned up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so everything is now dry. I just want to add my little phrase, my little quote or saying to my art journal page. So to do that, I have gone onto the internet to find a very small Christmas tree haiku. Now, a haiku is a form of poetry where it's structured, or very, very strictly structured, Oriental in origin, China, Japan, I'm not quite sure which, but it's structured in syllables. So it's 3 lines usually of 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, and 5 syllables in the last line again. So this is my Christmas tree haiku, which I've printed off on the computer and just printed out and separated each line. So I'm going to put this in the middle-ish. I should have printed this out on a label really, I think. Probably will need just to hold it down, just so the glue grabs, because it doesn't stick very well over glitter. So Christmas tree so green, or Christmas tree I love you, with a star on top. Now of course my Christmas tree doesn't have a star on top, and I do have somewhere a 5-pointed star punch, but I can't find it. So I've had a bit of a hunt round. Instead I found a little 5-pointed poinsettia die that looks like a star, and seeing as it's a poinsettia, it's ideal for Christmas too. So I've die cut that out in gold, and I'm going to stick that to the top of my Christmas tree. That really is a Christmas star. I'm hoping that glue's going to grab. There we go. I love it. Very quirky, very whimsical, and just perfect for a bit of Christmas art journaling. All that remains for me to do is to sign it. And just to do it in the spirit, I'm going to use a gold opaque pen. And today it's the 20th. Done. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now, for today. I'll see you all again real soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.